Hello and welcome to another edition of Mum's the Word here on Channel Mum. This is the show where we talk about absolutely anything to do with parenting, all the stuff that you would chat about with your mum friends. We are not afraid to talk about it. Now today we are going to talk about the subject of dummies. Do you love them or do you loathe them? First of all, let's meet the team. We've got Stacey on the end there, we've got Lucy and Ashlyn. Hello! Oh, you've dropped your giraffe, and we've got Kate as well. But before we talk about what we think about dummies, let's find out what you think on the streets of the UK.
I'd always planned not to use a dummy and always thought don't start it and it'd be much easier, but my son was in hospital when he was first born. He was premature, and in hospital they said that a soother, as they call them, actually helps. So I think it's only in the UK that we call them dummies, and in America they call them soothers.
When he started having one, we wondered why we never did with the other two. I mean, I'd rather not use them because I like to be able to see his face. And it's nice when he sort of, you know, chats and stuff, but it stops him from being in a lot of discomfort. It stops him from crying. It helps him get to sleep.
Oh, the dummy? No, I have 4 children. They never use the dummy because the dummy is not good also for your teeth, you know. And then there is something like they can addict, and then they can, when they start going to school, that is not good. Yeah. So for me, no.
Didn't with the first one, and then because he was so unsettled, I was like, right, I'm going to tried it, and he didn't do it, and so no, we haven't used dummies, but we did try it because it was like last resort, and if it was going to help us get sleep, then I was happy with it.
Tried with my first one to help to get him to nap because he needed something to suck. I was weaning him off my boob, and he wouldn't, so he had a dummy for a bit, and then he found his thumb, and he's still got his thumb, and he's 3.5.
So mixed views there on whether dummies are great or whether they're horrible. Have we got any strong views here? Who absolutely hates them?
I think they're vile.
Vile? Do you? Why?
Yeah. I think they look horrible. I think when you give your baby a dummy, you almost stop noticing it. I get really, really annoyed when I'm on social media and you see this beautiful baby and all I see is a dummy. I think it's like the parents stop noticing that the dummy's even there after a while.
What, because they've got so used to it?
Yeah, and I think they cover half the baby's face. I think that they're dirty and yucky. You know, like they get all full of germs and stuff, which is horrible. And they can do so much damage to speech and language. And I really, really hate when people use them with bigger children. I think if you're going to use one for sleep when they're little, that's fair enough, but there's a time and a place to get rid of it.
You have some strong views. But what about, like with anything with babies, sometimes weaning off anything, a bottle, the boob, I can't wean my child off the boob for love nor money. It's, you know, maybe perhaps those parents who, you know, maybe have a toddler with a dummy, maybe they've tried everything and it's just, you know, that child needs it for comfort. Do you think it's a
really difficult one. Before I had Archie, I was dead against them, as I suppose you are with a lot of things before you become a mum, and then you suddenly change your mind when they're here.
Yeah.
When he was born, I actually read or I heard a lot about that it could help with the risk of SIDS.
Yep.
So I was like buying all the dummies that I could find after that. So he had one for a while and I did really change my mind. I felt like it comforted him when he was very young. But he very quickly just grew out of needing it, which in the end I have to say I was quite glad about. I'm glad he doesn't depend on it now. So I've kind of gone between hating them, loving them, and then kind of back to being really glad he doesn't have it, to be honest.
I'm quite similar to you. I actually tried them with Noah, and he did take them for about 6 weeks initially when he was a newborn. And he is a baby that needs to suck. You know, he needs to suck something, and it's normally me, for comfort, to get to sleep. And we went through an awful period of colic, and I could not settle him. And the more he breastfed, the more colicky he got. But he just needed that sucking reflex to help calm him. And so I sort of don't see anything wrong with them if you're using them like that. Stacey, what do you think?
I don't think there's anything wrong with dummies. I don't care if a child has a dummy or not. To be honest, I'm the opposite to Lucy. When I see a child, that's not the first thing I see when they have a dummy in them. I didn't use it with Rika. She wouldn't take it. If she did, I would have. She had colic really, really bad, but she just wouldn't take it. Jacob had it for maybe 2 weeks because he had really bad reflux, and the doctor actually said to me to try the dummy.
Really?
And it really, really helped him. He slept through the night and it really, really helped. So I wasn't ashamed of it. I went out and bought loads, to be honest. But then he stopped using it, which again, I'm a bit like Katie. I don't know, for me, I just felt like, okay, I'm glad that he didn't. But not because of the way it looked, because I didn't want to keep getting up every night, keep putting it back in.
Yeah. I found some really interesting facts actually whilst researching this episode from the Department of Health. So there are pros and cons, as we've been talking about. As you mentioned, Kate, one of the pros is protection against sudden infant death syndrome. The Department of Health advises giving your baby a dummy at the start of a sleep period, and it can help reduce the risk of SIDS, which is quite significant. Also can help soothe a colicky baby, which is a very real thing. And it's easier to wean off than the thumb. So they're the pros. Some cons that I had no idea about. Research has shown there could be a link between the use of a dummy and recurrent ear infections in young children. It's something to do with the sucking and the changes of pressure in their ears, which had never crossed my mind. So I think it's quite an important thing for mums to know before they perhaps make that choice. Also, it can cause nipple confusion if you introduce too early and you're trying to breastfeed. And also some parents can mistake the fact that their baby's actually hungry.
Yeah.
Think they're not hungry, they just need to suck, when actually they really need the breast or the bottle. So it's one of those parenting things
that lots of people use to keep their baby quiet.
Yeah, perhaps.
And I think sometimes they need to make a noise. You know, that's why it delays speech, because it stops them from making all those early babbling sounds.
And speech was the next one. It can delay early speech and things like that. So lots of food for thought there. So that's what we think, and there are some facts. Let's find out what the rest of the Channel Mum team think.
I absolutely hate them, to be honest. That's not to say I care if another baby has them, if you use a dummy for your baby, or if I see a baby out, I'm not like, oh gosh, you know, they're using a dummy. But just personally for me, I really don't like them, and I don't know why that is. I don't actually really know why, I just don't like them.
My first son had speech and language delay, so after that, I was adamant that with my subsequent children, I would definitely not be using a dummy, solely for that reason, because my son hadn't used one and his speech and language was quite delayed, and it's something that we had to work really hard on to bring him up to the level that he should have been at. Perhaps if we had used a dummy, it may have delayed him even more. So it wasn't something that I wanted to opt for.
I am an absolute big fan. I gave Harrison a dummy after everybody telling me I should, after about 2 or 3 weeks, and he's loved it ever since. It's his biggest comfort item and he is obsessed. That, along with his blanket, they are just his 2 ultimate comfort items, and for me as a mother, I feel like that's my role, is to make Harrison as comfortable as possible.
We had Harry at 2 years old trying to wean him off dummies, and he was an absolute nightmare. I hate dummies, I hate them. It took 2.5 weeks to get rid of the thing, and if we lost it, then he would scream and cry and we'd have to buy another one, and it was awful. I hate them.
I hate pictures of the kids with dummies in their face. I don't know why, and I've got nothing against anyone else that gives their child a dummy. You want your kid to have a dummy until they're 5, that's your kid. You are not actually going to damage them.
If it helps them get over an anxiety, any stress or upset in the moment that they need calming down, then it's a great tool to use.
So that's what the Channel Mum team think. Quite a mixed reaction there. Anything you sort of picked up on? Or?
For me, I think someone mentioned about it shouldn't be used as a comforter. It shouldn't. For me personally, with Jacob, he has sensory issues, and sucking is the only thing that helps him when we're out and about.
Sucking's a big comfort
for
all babies.
When we're out in the supermarket, sensory overload is just too much for him, so he has to suck on a bottle. So he needs that, otherwise he wouldn't be able to go outside. So I don't agree with that at all.
It's very easy to disregard it if your child doesn't feel like they need it, but if they do, and they find comfort in it, I'm sure you would do anything.
A lot of the time they're given for medical reasons. A lot of babies that are born prematurely are given them in hospital, aren't they? You know, I kind of think there is a place for them. Yeah, there's definitely a place for them, you know, for younger babies. I think that's fine. I did find it interesting, the amount of people, I mean, it was reflected with us as well, that gave dummies for whatever reason, but were really glad when they didn't have to use them anymore. So,
God, there has been times when I wished Noah would take a dummy, and it kind of went against what I really thought deep down, I think. But I was like, oh my God, he's on my boob again. I can't do this. And he does comfort suck. And you know, if I could have just given him a dummy for an hour, it might have given me and my boobs a bit of a break. But it's so hard, isn't it? You kind of go with what works at the time, as with everything, I think.
Exactly. For Jacob, he used to suck on the bottle so much, even when the milk was gone, that it was giving him wind. So he was getting air. So I was so glad when he actually the dummy, because that really helped.
But then he didn't keep the dummy,
No,
did he?
he didn't. Which I'm glad of. Only because I just didn't want to keep waking. I literally was going in there like all night, keep wanting it in because he keep waking
It
up.
is an extra hassle, isn't it, if you
Yeah.
don't need it. I mean, I remember when Archie did have his, and I was quite a neurotic mum when he was first born, was probably scared of everything. And any time it was even dropped on the sofa or even dropped on the floor, back in the boiling water and just drove me mad.
Who's
having
got
to
time for that?
constantly do it.
It is. It's just like another level of sort of something you have to worry about, isn't it? But as we've heard, it does really work for some parents and some babies. So it's another one of those Channel Mum topics where, you know, there's not necessarily a right or a wrong. Yeah. So, well, you've heard all our views. That's what we think about dummies. We would love you to comment on this video. Let us know your thoughts on dummies. Have you used a dummy with your child, or are you completely against them? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to like the video as well and subscribe. That would be great. And if you have a really strong view, why not make your own video? You can link us in on our social channels. We would absolutely love to see that. Thank you so much for watching.